You all may be seated. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm happy to see that you all came out. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? What about now? Thanks for inviting me here. Those that got word of what we were doing. Before I get started, I would like very much to give an explanation to my appearance. We're living in a time now that is so great and dreadful at the same time. If you don't have the proper knowledge, it most certainly is dreadful. With the right knowledge, it's great. There's nothing that is taking place that has not already been seen. This is how the God does things. When we are born and we come into the plan that is already in motion, you have to learn what it is or either catch up with it. And what has been happening so far, the plan for us to be really civilized people, or real gods of the planet, the knowledge has not been given to you. Only the message to let you know who you are. However, no knowledge to make you that. I know from prophecy that there is a question in everybody's mind concerning my appearance, especially coming to speak to you on the level of what I'm going to be saying. This was so much an interest of the prophets that they made a comment about it. I'm saying this because if you don't get over what you're looking at, you're not going to perceive what you hear, or you're not going to hear it as you should. Are you all listening? It's very important. This evening, it would be very wise for you all to use your listening power. Use it, because you're going to need it. This is going to be for a few moments, a couple hours, only a few moments. However, what's going to be said and shared with you is an opportunity for life. An opportunity for you to live, to be here, and to be recognized and be in accord with life. Is that clear? Now, I'm most certainly going to be speaking about building. However, everything that we find ourselves in is a plan that is divine. It isn't something that just happened. You're not here looking the way that you look or in the school just because it just happened. The city wasn't built because it just happened. Someone had a vision and they put it together and went to work on it. And now we are living it, or we're seeing it. Well, how much more should we put into motion about the well-being of the God himself, or the God people? Someone had to see what was going to happen and what was going to be the outcome of it. If not that, they would have to put in certain forces of nature to ensure that the end would come out the way they planned it. So if anyone came before you at this time in history, they would have to be already spoke about or written about in the books of prophecy. Does that make sense? Now, since we raised up a man, Elijah Muhammad, to share with us the message, that has happened. And he has now departed from us. Now we need to be able to actually practice what the message was about. However, you need knowledge for that. It's much like going to work and you see your parents or see someone that is doing a job that you would like to do. Before you can do it, you have to have the knowledge to actually do what you like. In everybody's soul, if you're a black person that's halfway righteous, the thing that you really want to be is right. And just by being right, it makes you God. Now, this isn't against any race. If there are those of you that are here that have the lessons that the messenger gave us, that Master Prophet Muhammad gave him, we know that in the lessons it speaks of about 3 million Caucasians with us. And they are with us because they want it to be. However, we got to be doing something that's attractive. We can't be God and we're not doing as much as they are. And if you all are the cream of the crop, and you're at an age where you should be seeking knowledge, not just information, but knowledge. And no knowledge is real unless it corresponds with a time. If it's out of time, it can't help you. You just got a library of knowledge, but it can't help you. If you got it and it's in time, then the knowledge can serve you. Most of us don't know what time it is. We know it's almost at the end of the world, so they say. Or it's the end of time. That still don't tell you what you are to do. You want to know what should you do. And who is it that is going to be teaching you? Did God actually prepare someone, or each person is supposed to look up on it? I don't think that's the way God works. I would like to say something or read here. This is going to be short. Then we'll get into what I really want to talk about as far as building. Because the time is now. Now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Now. And it is time for you all to know. And a place has to be made for you to actually do this type of building where your enemy cannot stop you. We have the enemy of righteous. They do not want this done. They would much rather see you go down to the abyss of hell with them than to see you building. So just to give an insight on what the angels thought about my appearance, I'll read what they said. And remember, the Bible and the Quran and most spiritual literature are prophecies. Most of it has happened. However, the final part of it is just now happening. The fullness of it is just now taking place. Am I making myself clear? Just stick with me just a little. If we were to read Revelation, which most people don't talk about, chapter 5, I'm going to read a short couple verses here to show that this is time, and the person that you're looking at is the one that the angels recognize. It reads here, "And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, nor under the earth was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain. This is describing the person that was worthy to open the book. To look, they're saying he looked as though he was slain. You're looking at it. No one has come before you to teach you anything with no teeth. That just don't happen. Before that happens, they go get some false teeth. Is that right? Well, I didn't purposely do this. This is just me. If it's not real, I don't have it. So I don't go get no false teeth to put it in so I can look good. I am what I am. However, that'll be taken care of in the near future. I just thought I would let you know, according to what the book reads concerning myself, so you can put that aside in your mind, so you will be able to hear what's being said. Now, I am the spiritual head, or the head, period, of the United Nation of Islam. A nation of right. That's what is being said. Nation of Islam. A righteous nation. In order for that to actually take place, we have to have knowledge that is right and true, not a message. We have to have knowledge. First place, what is nation? If you know the why and the how of things, it gives you power. Just for it to be said, you're living in a nation now. It's not a righteous nation, however, it's a nation. In the word nation, or the word nation derives from the word nature. Up until now, we have been living in the nature of a man that is opposite of ours, or our nature. And this is why we always find ourselves in some type of disappointment or misery. It's not our nature or nation. However, according to the supreme being, at the end of time, meaning the end for this man to express his nature in the form of his nation, God himself would come. And he would raise up his own nation. Meaning he would have to express his nature. I hope you all are listening. This entails work. It's not going to be done through no waving of the wand. You all that are in college, that are studying, taking up certain trades, learning how to be what you want to be, what's in your mind, you think. After you learn it, you need a place to practice it. If, and we can easily see that what I'm about to say is true, if this is the end, what is it the end of? Is it the end of you? Or is it the end of things happening the way that we have been accustomed to it? If it is indeed the end of the normal behavior, then a new behavior has to come in. Someone has to bring it that is actually that. Not know it, they have to be that. And when it is brought in, it is supposed to be attractive enough to you to satisfy your thirst for knowledge. Now, if I were to come and stand before you and just say, well, I'm the spiritual head of the United Nation of Islam, and I would like to teach you all some things. Now, after I finish, you say, well, Brother Solomon, is there any place that I could go to practice or to work or to have a job or to perform my duties? And I say, no, I don't have no place for that to take place. Just go out in the world and be good. What I would have to say would mean nothing. So what I did, since I'm instructed by nature and the supreme being to actually be about building and doing, so much so that we gave you a prototype or an example of just what Solomon did or would be doing. 3 things that we must have: food, clothing, and shelter. You got to have that. If you don't have it from yourself, you're subject to whoever is providing it for you. Is that true? I hope you're listening. I'm not trying to convert anyone. The good thing about this is you accept it if you want it. If nobody comes, it does not bother me, because it is the end. And I am the beginning of life for those who want to live. I'll say it again because it may sound strange. Those of you that are here and those people that you know, no one has the formula of life that's going to ensure that you live in this terrible time. No one has it. If they have, they haven't told you. And if they haven't and haven't told you, something is wrong with them. So what I'm saying to you is this. This is to be placed before you. It's up to you if you want to accept it or investigate it. However, it will not detract 1 second or 1 atom's weight of time if you don't. The scientist and I were speaking one day. For those of you, any of you all know anything about the Bible? By raising your hand? Well, in the Bible, they don't call them scientists. They call them the 4 and the 20 elders, or the 20 and the 4 elders. We were speaking one day, or they were speaking with me. I'm saying this is not a Bible class. However, since this is divine, you have to see how it ties in to you and your nature. This isn't something that I want to take place because I sat down one day and I thought of it. This had to be already ordained before I came out and took the first breath. Because of the love for you, that this was to take place. So they were telling me, when you start, no one's going to believe you. So I asked the question, well, why is that? They said, because what you're going to be speaking will be new to them. And it's going to be unbelievable. However, don't stop. Don't go after no one. I hope you're listening. Because this is your salvation as much as it is mine. Don't go after no one. When they get tired, they will come. This means all the brothers and sisters, whoever that is living and breathing the breath of life. Once you have knowledge of this, it's your choice to reject it. We don't have to waste time going and chasing after someone to make them do anything, because if we chase you and catch you and then make you do it, we've made a problem for ourselves. What we do is go about doing things that will attract you. So when you do get tired, the key word is you will come. And it don't mean that you will come to a church, to a temple. You have to come to an activity that will give you something to do daily, which will ensure your survival, food, clothing, and shelter. So this means we have to have land. I have to already have it before you come. I can't come to you and ask you to help me get it. When I come, I have to let you know I've already got it. It may be in a minuscule form or proportion. However, the seed is there. The only thing it has to do is mushroom or grow. Are you all listening? This is important. It makes no difference from what camp you come from. That don't make no difference. Who you believe is God, that don't make no difference. You know, it's written in the same book that my people, God speaking, lose their life for the lack of knowledge. After knowledge was sent to them and they rejected it. It didn't say you lose your life because of Allah or Solomon or nobody. It didn't even put a name to it. So if your life is going to be saved, we would have to see what the statement reads or is indicating. We'd have to say, well, to save our life, we must have knowledge. Where is it coming from? After the book also reads, men is forever seeking knowledge and never finding the truth. So it don't make no difference what camp you come from. You're going to have to accept this if you want to live. Now, we have the farmland started. We have the clothing factory started. We have the supermarkets and things that go along with all of the logistics that it takes for us to be a people and to become independent. I have already gotten started. Now, what we need, since God is the God of life and not death, what is needed is the energy of the youth that is seeking knowledge in a place to practice it. You need a place to practice your nature, not someone else's. You don't need no job. The very word job, the meaning of it means it has an end. You do it in spurts, sporadically. However, it reads in the spiritual literature that you should keep your duty to Allah. You don't find no end in that. You're supposed to sleep it, eat it, drink it, wear it, work it. That's your duty. How are you going to do it if you don't have knowledge? And if you get it, you don't have no place to practice it. And it is not to be done haphazardly or sporadically in the other man's nature. I hope you're listening. We're going to have the floor open in a little while for you to pose questions to me. I really am the Solomon of the book. However, this is the way it is stated in the Quran. Solomon or David had a son, physical son, supposed to be, that was actually named Solomon. However, that Solomon was not the one that is to build the nation or the house of the Lord today. It was a Solomon that was bestowed unto David. That means it wasn't his physical son. Are you all understanding? I'm saying this so you will get the divine connection between you and what must be done and what you should do to be a part of life. Not follow me. I don't have no followers. I really don't. That's a problem. Because every time you fall, you call me to help you up. If you're with me, then I don't have to look behind me. You're with me. You're not a burden. Because you have agreed to be with me. I hope you understand. There's one other thing I would like to go over with this before we open up the floor, and I want to say a couple other things. In our nature and expressing it, we need everything that we are accustomed to. However, we must be doing it. Most of us don't seek employment in the waste disposals, in the energy that we use every day that we just take for granted. We hit the switch, the light come on. You may say, well, to be a real man and to make a mark in this world, I would like to be on one of the ships going out into outer space. Just that fact alone, I know I'd have to know quite a few things to be successful in acquiring a job doing that. However, the man that is furnishing you your water, you don't hardly think about that. The one that picks up your garbage in front of your house, you hardly think about that. And like I said, the lights and the gas that you use, you very seldom think about that. Regardless of how far you go out into space and come back, if you're paying a man for your electric, you're not God. You're not independent. You are not. The very things, simple things of life that you've been used to, somebody else is providing for you. It's not just happening by osmosis. So if you're going to be the one that actually enjoy life, you have to study every facet of it. If you're going to produce your food, you must know how the earth produces it, when it does, and where to plant it, and what you must eat. So we need people that know how to farm. Not just go to the store and get it. We got to have those ones that are young, the youth, to know how to package it so it can be transported to your stores. This don't mean that we are doing this in anger or with an attitude in the other man's nature, because that is his nature. He don't have a choice in that. He does what he does. You waste your time arguing and try to make him change. You waste your time. You get busy in your nature. But since nobody has the right to actually bring about a system and a place for you to practice, you could never experience it in reality. Only in thought and vision. That's as far as you could go with it. If you try to employ it, operating in the man that's nature is opting you, he stops you. You go but so far, and that's it. Is that the truth? You know, this is one of the first times that I've actually came out to speak to those young people in college. I know it won't be the last. I'm just getting started. My first duty, and I pray you listen, my first duty was to retrieve what we call in the lessons 144,000 stars that came under the messenger so that they may be able to go to heaven with their Lord. The period of time for that I have accomplished. I didn't try to come to you before that was taking place. We must honor our mother and father first. And in the book here, it reads that the Lamb was busy about gathering the ones from the first. So I have done that. I've made a place for them. They can do this now. They can come and be saved. There'll be a short time when they'll be able to actually go with their Lord. Now, as the messenger taught, the children of the 144,000 would be with me. Now, this does not mean if your parents were not with the messenger, that it don't mean you. It does. The statement means that if you were born during the time that would make you the child, the time period, then you would have to be with me. It's impossible for you to be a parent and go with the Lord first. As it reads in the book, when John looked, he saw 144,000 going to heaven with their Lord. Then he looked again on the other side of the mountain, and he saw a number that no man could count. That number is you. And the reason why they were uncountable is because you were doing nothing. If you were doing something that was in accord with nature, meaning for self, because self-preservation is first. You are not doing nothing for self. So since you're not, you can't be counted. It was a number, and all the numbers still could not be counted because you were doing nothing. Now, I am not the Lord. So the 144,000 weren't seen going to heaven with me. The nothing people, when John looked again, their robes or garments were washed white with my blood, or the blood of this lamb that looked as though he was slain from the foundation of the earth. This means I have to share with you knowledge that's real. That is actually making you the real human being of this planet and the God of the universe. So that's what it means. The truth, or the redness of the blood, represents truth and freedom. And it makes you white in your thinking. It's not what you actually really wear. So now I've come to the children because you belong to me and I belong to you. What I have here is for you. For within the children is the kingdom of heaven. However, you have to be taught the keys so it can come out of you and have a place for you to actually start this building of this heaven. Do you agree with me? I hope I'm not putting you to sleep. I'm only trying to give a foundation as to why things really are and the time. Now, I would like to read one other thing, and I won't do any more reading tonight unless you ask me. What makes me the one, or what gives me the right to say what I'm saying? If you cannot find it written in prophecy, it's a problem. If the person or persons are claiming something and it cannot be verified by these scientists or by the prophets, you got a problem. Something is wrong. However, most things are written in code. When it got time for it to actually be revealed, you may have been reading it all your life. When the time came around, clarity comes with it. You may wake up one morning and read it and say, oh, man, that was simple. That's what this means. So that God put it in the book in such a way, it was already here. But you couldn't make head or tails of it. That's why anytime anyone reads this book and claims to be an authority on it, they have a good act with it. If they're not a good actor, he's not a good preacher. He's not a good minister. He's not a real good teacher. Because there's too many fallacies that you can find in it from the speaker as he reads it or speaks to you concerning it. Because the time is off. And you're not to learn this from a bunch or a group of people. As sin entered the world by one man, the same way righteousness is coming back into the world by one man. Let me read this if I may. I'm doing this just to give credence or to show that this was already spoken of before I saw you and you saw me, or you see me. This is in Chronicles, chapter 22, and I shall start at verse 5. David is actually the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in its fullness. Everything is done in stages. Everything. That's why you breathe in and out, in and out. You're living in stages. Once you stop breathing and don't bring it in, that's the end of you. You don't take one big breath and you live forever. Everything is fractionalized. And you use the fractions. That's a mercy from us to you. The fractions will not hurt you. However, if you get the whole, all of a sudden, it may crush you. I hope you understand. All right, it reads as such. And David said, Solomon, my son, is young and tender. He's talking about me. And the house that is to be built for the Lord must be exceedingly magnificent and of fame, of glory, through all the countries. I will therefore now make preparations for it. This is the messenger talking. He will make preparations for it. So David prepared abundantly before he died, or his death. Then he called for Solomon his son and charged him to build an house for the Lord God of Israel. This Israel in the Bible is speaking about the ones that came under the messenger. It means the real people of the planet. It don't mean what most people think of as the Jews. It don't mean that. The real Israel, if you notice, and those of you that have a little knowledge, when it speaks about we had to find the lost sheep, he was lost. The closest that they could come to identifying where this lost sheep was, that he was swallowed up in the house of Israel. So thoroughly that even the scientists found it hard to find him in the house of Israel. This means North America. So the Israel means the real people of the planet is you. And the messenger had got that started. Now let me continue this. But the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thou hast shed blood abundantly, and hast made great wars. Thou hast not built an house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. Now you may say, well, the messenger didn't shed any blood. He did. And the God is telling him that he shed a lot of blood in his sight. So he wouldn't allow him to build the house. What that means is Master Prophet Muhammad was here in 1930. You had a couple world wars since then, and he was right here looking at it. It was in his sight. I think we're going to have the tape of this when we finish. Get the tape. Go over it so that you can get the keys and acquire the necessary attraction that you need to properly investigate this. It's not for me, it's for you. Now, this is still the Lord talking to David, or the messenger. Behold, a son shall be born to thee, who shall be a man of rest, and I will give him rest from his enemies round and about. For his name shall be Solomon, and I will give him peace and quiet unto Israel in all his days. He shall build an house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father, and I will establish his throne of his kingdom over Israel forever. Now, my son, the Lord be with thee, and prosper thou, and build the house of the Lord thy God, as he has said of thee. Arise, therefore, and be doing, and the Lord be with thee. I don't have a message. I have a nation. I have a nation. And it is for you and me to be about doing. The only requirement for you to be a part of the nation, regardless to what kindred, what tongue, what race, what people that you are, is that you have a will in your heart or mind to be right. That's all. Because we know you don't know how to be right because you were born in sin and then baptized in it, meaning that you were taught this. Now, if you're with me and you come with this, my duty is to teach you and give you an opportunity to practice that which will make you right. What you have in your heart and mind to do. Is that clear? Now, I've just read, you can get it for yourself in the Bible, in Revelation, and also in Chronicles, what I just read concerning my appearance and authorization for me to actually do what I'm doing. We need some people that are scientists to produce our energy for us. We, at this particular time, I don't know if the National Secretary for myself told you what we actually have going in the way of food, clothing, and shelter, even automobiles, clothing factories. This means machinery. This means an opportunity for you to come and put hands on, not just to build that in that sense. In order for you to actually be what you know, you have to do something. You can't walk around with it and say, I know this and I know that. You can quote it, but do you really know it? When you actually have to employ it, that's what will teach you. This is why they say experience is the best teacher. Nobody, black man and black woman, is providing that for you. Regardless of what you learn in school, whatever school you go to, what you're being taught, someone knew it before you. And they fixed it up in such a way, when you learn it, you must serve them. It's not made for you to learn it and serve you. Because you're living in another man's nature. I hope you get that if you don't get anything else. You're not living in your nature. Now, I want to do everything that actually denotes that we really God. I don't want to pay nobody for my electric. I don't want to pay my water bill. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay somebody to take the garbage out. I don't want to do that. So since I don't want to do it, what am I going to do about it? This means that I have to start a nation, not a business or a company or a group, a nation. The house that is spoken about here that is to be built is not a house. That's not what it is. If you read further concerning Solomon, the nation or house that he built, there was never a sound of a hammer. No nails were being driven. So indeed, the house that was being built was here. I have to build your thinking. Somebody has to do it. And if they're going to do it, they have to have the new. Are you all going to sleep or are you listening? Are you listening? Yes, sir. Well, whatever questions that come to mind, I'm going to open the floor up in a few moments so you may ask me. I think back on the table, we have some of our products. We're doing international trade with our brothers in Africa, and it's going to increase. They have permitted us to put our label on the products that we're going to be bringing from there. We need ambassadors. And the main thing that we need, everyone that's going to be with this, you must be civilized. We cannot have someone going off on your own thinking and think that something should be when it shouldn't. So the same as what this other man that has got you operating in his nature does, before he allows you to go in his society, you got to go to school. You got to learn what he says that must be learned. We are somewhat the same. However, the schooling is a place where you put your hands on it. This is why we've had for some time here now, and I haven't talked to the young people, it's been mostly aimed after the ones that were with the message. However, we have mathematical thinking classes, not mathematical classes, not classes of mathematics, but mathematical thinking classes. The main thing that we lack is knowing how to think. You can think. All of your thinking is always applied to your enemy. He benefits from your thinking. He'll make sure that if you're a good thinker, he'll give you a scholarship to make sure that you are able to develop where you'll be a good servant and he can remain God. The end of that time is up. It was up in 1914. Hope you listen, because these are keys. In 1914, it was up. However, it's written here concerning you and I and the man of sin that we would give him a lifespan of 70, meaning 70 years. Most of us think this means individual persons. It does not. It means as a people. Allah appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July the 4th, 1930. And if we gave a people a lifespan divine, now this is the supreme being making this promise, we will give you 70 years, 70, and then you must die. So when is that time up? Year 2000. Year 2000. We can't wait as a people for year 2000 for them to be actually taken out of position of power and then we're going to get started. That's not the way wise people do things. You got to make preparations before the time actually arrives. So that's why it is time out for all of the other leaders that call themselves leaders. They're not causing us to be prepared for what we need. They're not. We need to be prepared to eat. If we have farmland and we don't have nobody with the will to go farm it because you're so used to going to the supermarket, you think it just presto appears in the supermarket and you go buy and go home. Well, if this man is out of existence as far as power and you haven't did anything, how you going to eat? Nothing is by magic. So the God said he would tell David, he shall have a son. And this son is to get this started, meaning I'm to be attractive to you. Wake up so that we can get this done. 2 years is no time. It is no time at all. However, as the messenger taught, when the nation actually comes back, it would come back so fast, it would look like it was never there. And he didn't lie. You all love this, but you don't know it. You know, it's like putting dessert before you, and you've never tasted it before. And you may be a little bit skeptical to try it. And someone else keeps coasting you. It's good, I'm telling you. You should try it. And then you taste it, and you say, oh, man, this is good. And from then on, that's a course that's in your menu. This, what I'm offering to you, is your nature in a practical way. It isn't where you're going to come and be with me or follow me and don't have nothing to do. So I would investigate it. We need to get busy. 2 years is no time at all. None at all. And believe me, the destruction is going on. If you don't know how to be saved from it, you most certainly don't know how to stop it. You don't know how to stop it. And without knowledge, you are at its mercy. Is that right? That's right. If most of you all could, if you could, you would stop El Nino, the effects of it. You would stop it. Unless you can control it and make it come where you want it to be. And that would always be where you are not. But since you can't, what you going to do? It's coming on farmland and destroying the food that you're going to the supermarket buying. And if this knowledge has come to an end and you're gathering it, where are you going to work? Who's going to employ you? If they're going to be laying off their own people because we're bringing about that type of situation. Look what happened in Maine. Just so I won't keep talking and don't know if I'm speaking to what you want to know, I would like to open up the floor for you all to ask me questions. And before you start, I'm not here as God. I'm not here as that. I'm here as a person that is doing this building. You can ask me God questions. I'm not going to argue with you. If you are from the minister's camp, fine. If you're from Dr. York, fine. If you're from whoever, fine. Your questions should be phrased in a manner to learn. Remember what I just stated. I don't have to go after you. There is a condition that is prevalent and gaining strength. You're going to look me up. All I have to be concerned about is make sure I don't stop working, because you're going to come. I just got to make sure when they come that I got a place for you. So if you bum rush me, I got something for you. If you don't come, you can't charge me that I didn't do it. I'm not going to be destroyed. I am the destroyer. If you have any questions, I think we have approximately about another 45 minutes. You all may ask me questions to satisfy your thirst of knowledge. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I hope you all get the tape. We have a mic here in the center floor that you may come to the mic and ask the questions, if you like. Before you leave, scan the tables so you can see what's already in motion. Not we're trying to get in motion, it's already in motion. If you would like to be a part of this, well then we would be more than happy to oblige you. We have certain captains and lieutenants and ministers that will show you what must be done. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Greg from Destin. My first question is, you talked a lot about building a nation. And from the literal to build a nation, you must need some land. And I can't see how we're going to be able to build a nation in the future when all of the resources that are owned in this country is not owned by us. So the only way I can see building a nation is if we have our own land. And even if we could find some land to buy, we're buying it from someone else. So ultimately that sounds to me as if in the future there will be conflict between the two. So I just wanted to make that statement, but my question was, if we want to build the nation, where do we get the land from?
Well, the earth belongs to us, and how we take it is through knowledge. I just made the statement that the people that is our enemy, just from watching the little that we're doing, they're coming and offering. If you remember the writings concerning Solomon, it said even the stranger helped Solomon. So because we're not going to go and make them give anything because of what we're doing. And remember, the kingdom was taken without hands. It wasn't that we had an attitude, we're going to go take this because it's ours. Our use of it, if we're bringing a burden on them for having it, if they got land, it's a burden. Just like this campus here. It's a burden for somebody to operate it. If we bring about situations that makes it a real burden, and then we come up and we offer them relief. Or if they see, well, we make it known we need a campus. And they can say, well, maybe they'll take this off our hands. And they come and offer it to us. And we take it. This is how it's going to be done. That's why it says without hands, that's how it's going to be done. It's not that destruction isn't taking place. It's taking place as we speak. And the destruction is against the wicked, not the righteous. And this kingdom is being built as from righteous people. So from us doing this, this is attractive even to the enemy. So it's not going to be a conflict where we get land, they're going to come and take it because we got it. No, sir. And the 3 million Muslim sons that will be with us, helping us, they also will keep his brother off us because they also want to be saved from the destruction. They may not go to the hereafter, but they want to be saved from the destruction. So this thing is already laid out. Naturally, we need land. It's going to be offered to us. We can bring about a drought where the man don't want it. We bring about a flood where they don't want it. We bring about a pestilence where they don't want it. They'd be more than willing to give it. We're the God of it. We make it do what we want it to do. It's time for us now, brother, really. It's time for us. And it's not time for no argument. It's time for us to really see that somebody got to get busy doing something that's actually going to make this ours. That's what we got to do. And I've already gotten started. We need land. We got, according to what the lesson say, we got 2,000 by 3,000. All of North America. It's ours. Yes, sir.
So they're going to offer us this land.
Let me say it to you this way, brother.
No, can I? Please.
Wait. Let me say this. So you may laugh and snicker at this. Like I said, remember, that's why I said listen. In a few days, you're going to be looking for me. When misery comes upon you, this man looks real big to you because you don't have no knowledge of him and what's happening. When misery and the things that is already prophesied that will take place start to appear, if you got everything and you're losing it and it becomes a burden to you, if you're walking in the hot desert and you got an overcoat because it was cold, you're going to want to get rid of it. Matter of fact, it's so hard you don't even want to carry it. You would like to give it to somebody else to carry it for you. This is what's happening here. The man's got it, and he's not going to give it to anyone that is being less than what they really are, their word. So yes, sir, that's going to be offered to us. Hurry up.
Good evening, Brother Solomon. My name is Akis Charles. Earlier when you were speaking, you hinted to the fact that Solomon of the book was not the actual son of David and Bathsheba. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that for me? And also, are you making a connection between that lineage and you today, Brother Solomon?
Well, yes, sir. I said that David did have a physical son named Solomon. However, the Solomon that the Quran speaks about and the Solomon that is the fulfillment of the Solomon that he had physically, it was a Solomon that was bestowed upon him. It wasn't his physical son. In other words, some people say, well, they're the spiritual son of the messenger. The spiritual son would have to be Solomon. That's the one that was bestowed unto him by the Lord or from this supreme being. This is who you're looking at. I'm the fulfillment or the fullness of the Solomon and what he would do. And to let you know that this is real, it reads in the book concerning Solomon that nobody was wiser than him before him nor after him. If he was that wise, how did we get to be in the shape that we are today? We may as well say, well, we will never get out from underneath this. If nobody's to be wiser than him and he's gone. So it's got to mean something else. The fullness of this, if God gave him more wisdom, more knowledge than anyone that was ever before him or after him, it's got to be talking about this bestowed Solomon, the spiritual Solomon. It's got to be talking about that. And that's what's happening today. We need a knowledge to get us out of the situation in which we're in by nature. So we need one to bring it that is that. So that's what that means.
If you're indulge me, sir, I have, a follow-up question. We learned in the scriptures that the first Christ, the anointed one, came for the salvation of all mankind, but yet it seems that the nation you're trying to build is focused on a particular group of mankind. Would you elaborate on that for me a bit?
Well, yes, sir. We always use the best. It's not that other races cannot be with us. Please listen. I'll say this again. I've already stated that there is no stoppage from us. It don't make no difference what race you are. It's already written that even the stranger helped Solomon. The stranger is the man that's opposite from us. He's the Caucasian. The stranger came and helped me or helped us. It's not that we are doing this from an attitude or we keeping some people out and some people in. However, if the knowledge is to be expressed in its fullness, it's got to be designed for the man that is the author of it. And the author of real truth is you. Ain't no, all the other races came from you, after you. So the author has got to be you. So the God is coming from for the author of this. Now, if anyone lacks what they see the author do, come on. That's all we say.
Thank you very much, Brother Saul.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Sean James. My first question is in Chronicles. You were speaking of when Solomon was told that he was to build a temple, and David was not allowed to build a temple because of the things he did. And then you went on to say that it is not a physical temple that was actually being discussed here.
Right.
Why is it that in the next 2 chapters does it discuss in Chronicles how Solomon did build a temple, even God giving him instructions to what to build the temple, how to build the temple, and that temple actually has been found that in an archaeological dig around Jerusalem?
Well, see, this is the Solomon that we spoke about that was actually the son of David.
There are 2 Solomons being talked about in Texas.
That's why I say you got to listen. Most of us never use the art of listening. I just made the statement over and over. The fullness of this Solomon. Are you listening? Are you listening? Now, if you think this is funny, I'm telling you, in a few days, it's not going to be so funny. If there is a Solomon that's in the Quran that is bestowed to David, this is the one that actually built the kingdom where you heard no hammers, no driving of the nails. What I am to do is to get the thinking right of you. You're the one that actually do the building. My building, you can't build no house for God that kind of way. He owned the whole planet. So listen to what I'm saying, because you got to think. You must think. You just can't take things face value. What the world of God do you want with a house? And it's got to be more magnificent than any other nations that's in the countries. What do you want with a house? He got the whole planet. What he is saying is he needs to have his people back. Somebody got to build that house for him. And if there is a physical structure to take place to bear witness that this Solomon did exist, you will build it. And then you will build it in such a way that nobody that was before you had built it better. All of the builders of the world will marvel over this building, because what it would take to build it would have to be a new knowledge. It has to be. Nobody has brought it. You can't dig up the old Solomon. Matter of fact, when you go to try to find out how wise he was, you looking at, he split a baby, said, cut the baby in half. That's all. If you're going to build a nation or a house, and God owns the whole planet, he resides where he please. That don't mean no physical structure in that sense. It means build the thinking. Get the temple of God right. And when that gets right, you will build whatever physical part you want, and it'll be in harmony with nature.
Okay. Then in Revelation, you were speaking of the prophecy of John, and you talked about the line of Judah and the lamb that was slain. In his other 3 epistles, also continuing Revelations throughout the entire New Testament, when the line ending in the Old Testament, the line of Judah is mentioned, the lamb that was slain is mentioned, this is a reference to Jesus Christ.
You talking about the lamb?
Out here, how you trying to say that John is referring to anything other than that? Because we do know that John
All right.
believed that Jesus was the Christ.
All right.
And do you also believe in the other things that John said, or you just handpick what things that John said?
No, sir. First thing, let me explain this. Most people are getting upset with this. I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to offer an opportunity. The fullness of what the Bible speaks about is just now happening. So you cannot go on what you read and think that you got it. The Jesus Christ, there never has been no Jesus Christ. There was a Jesus, and that was it. The Christ has got to be the one that crushes your enemy. He's out here living in your face every day. He ain't been crushed. Hold it a minute. He has not been crushed. This Jesus Christ is the same as Solomon. They're one and the same. Solomon is the Jesus Christ. Joshua is the Jesus Christ. The Son of Man is the Jesus Christ. All of these different names in the Bible. No, sir. All of these different names are being told by people that is telling the story of the Bible in their own language, but they're telling the same story. It's not no whole bunch of different stories. It's like how many of you are here tonight? When you leave, each one of y'all can tell what you saw tonight, and it'll be different. There has been never no Jesus Christ until now. He was to show up at the fullness of time. I'm telling you, you asking me questions, I'm answering.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
The brother allowed me the opportunity to make a quick statement. I would like to express something in terms of the audience here. The first thing that Brother Solomon mentioned is in terms of mathematical thinking. Everyone must have the proper respect. You don't have the proper respect. If the President Clinton was standing before you, you wouldn't dare laugh, you wouldn't snicker. You would be on your P's and Q's. When it comes to someone that looks like you, you should pay proper respect to at least allow your ear to hear. If you think it's funny, what's going to be funny when you're not going to be able to go to the grocery stores? What's going to be funny if this man cuts off your supply system when you have nothing? And we don't have time to get tied up in negativity. Your mind should be open so that you can ask questions to better you. Not what happened 15,000 years ago. What you need to do today so that you can get yourself together. So if you get a degree and you come out and you have nothing to, no place to practice it, what does it mean? So Brother Simon is offering you an opportunity. And for being an observer, listening to the tapes, and being a part, he's not doing even a quarter of what he's being giving you an opportunity to express yourself. However, you all should be stepping out and asking intelligent questions. This is an institution designed for intelligence, is that right? He answered your question, even civilization. He answered, you understand, I won't say anything. If you're being civilized, yes, I understand. No, sir, I don't understand. The point that's being made, brothers and sisters, that everyone should have at least the proper respect. If you think it's a game or it's a joke, when everything that's being shared with you today, you're not able to get it tomorrow, meaning that degree is not going to put food on your table. And everything that we're supplying is food, clothing, and shelter. You think that's funny. Then remember this day. And then when you come to our door, we'll see if we remember you. So you want to make sure you're being intelligent. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Let me start by saying that I have had the privilege, probably unlike a lot of people here, to hear some of your teachings from a friend of mine. I heard your tape on creation, and I must say that after studying Mr. Farrakhan for some 7 or 8 years, and listening to those that follow people like Malachi York and others, that the take on creation and mathematical thinking, it just floored me. And when you make the statement that, strangers and white people come along to assist you, I can honestly say that I can believe it. I mean, just some of the things that I heard, on the definition or the purpose of a life, was just, something that I never even thought about, it could possibly mean. And after having listened to Minister Farrakhan for years and years upon years, I noticed that whenever I would go to hear him speak, I would see, millions of black people, hundreds of thousands of black people, all nodding their head, all saying, yes, that's right, right on, or whatever. And it was because he was talking about something that we could all rationalize with, which is our pain, our situation. But never had he floored me to the point where I didn't know what he was talking about. It was always, I could understand what he was talking about because he was talking about pain, my pain, but never ever solutions. And there are others like Malachi York and these people that hand out little books or whatever. And that, that's designed around kids and college students and, people who are highly inquisitive at this point in their life. And they write it in a way so that, they analyze the teaching of Elijah Muhammad or they analyze scripture in a way to tear down something that, only one of very few black men have come along to build. I'm a college graduate from Florida University, and I've had the privilege to walk into white corporate America, and basically, the doors have been open. And I'm in a position of great status of power in that particular organization, and I can say that I don't want it. And I don't care what the scriptures say. I don't care what, if when David did this or John did this. If you're talking about a situation where I can take care of my wife and my child, but I have to work for white people, I don't care what level or how much money they pay me. Man, I want to follow. I don't care the Bible, the Quran, or the book my man was here to call and reveal to you anything. If you got lot of pain, so they gotta help. So basically, the one thing I didn't understand is that in this place that you have, that you're gonna set for us, the brother that was, sharing some things with me, he couldn't explain to me how it would be done without money. I understand that, money is a system that we taught white people a long time ago, but I really couldn't understand how we're supposed to come out of it.
Yes, sir. You want me to answer that?
Yes, sir.
As I said before when I first started, we're operating in a nature. Since this man came from us, we brought him from us. The other four races came from us. We had to give them something to do that would magnify their nature so that they would be what we made them to be. Since the black man operates on math, not money, we operate on math, precision, to make things happen. Since we gave up the rulership, we were not to rule, and we're going to make another man rule. We couldn't give him what we had because it would be the same thing. We gave him something that would magnify his nature. It wasn't math, it was money. And that's why money here in the book, it reads that the root of evil is money. Now, that helps the man that is upset. For you to come out of it and be yourself, we have to do away with that system. So this is how it is done. We have a controlled atmosphere as to what we're building. Naturally, to get started, we need finance. And most of the finances come from us in the beginning because we have to show that we are for real. We're not playing. We're not getting the money to buy big homes and long limousines. The time is too short. We got to do something to show the black man this is for you. Like the brother said, you can have a family. You can eat. And you don't have to worry, turn gray at night, how you going to make it, how you going to pay the bill, how you going to pay them student loans. You see, you don't need that with us. So what we do, when the money comes towards us from our own people, as far as they get to the ones that is actually with us, is the perimeters of what we got going. We have a system set up, a banking system. The money comes in, we pay for what we need. However, the people that is in with us, that is actually operating what needs to be operated, don't touch no money. They're bringing about things that we actually need, and in doing so, we take on a light. Just from being relieved from the burden of money, we take on a light that the world starts to recognize. What we've been to places and people say, well, I know you all are black people, but where you come from? We've been in this country. They asked us this because we have a different look about ourselves. It's a freedom, and the freedom is from that money thing. We buy what we need, and we have the deed for it, or we have the title to it, and we use it the way it was designed to be used to serve us. Now, the more that is done, and while the knowledge is being shared, I hope you're listening, while the knowledge is being shared from the mathematical thinking classes, and what will come from me to you, after a while, we will be able to tell people that do have things something that they never heard before, never thought of, and purchase what we want from knowledge, with the knowledge that we got. This is how the birds make it, the animals make it. They don't have no money system. And we are much more elevated than them. We will take knowledge and purchase what we need. However, we just getting started. Just speaking with you, you all may have a lot of knowledge, but it is not coherent with the time. So it can't really help you. So you want to test me with your knowledge to verify whether I should be the man if I really am. And you're not really qualified to do it. I'm telling you, I got this already going. I'm not trying to get it going. It's going. And the people that's with me, they forget what day it is. They don't have to worry about whether it's Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or holiday. It's a day. And I have the opportunity to be active. The ones that are with me. And you'd be surprised how that starts you going back to your youth. The burden, I have lifted the burden off everyone that's with me. Even if they're 90 years old, they start to reverse and come back to be younger. That's how we do it as far as the money system is concerned. Money, we deal with what exists at the time, like a child being born. It finally broke free from the mother. However, it can't be independent of the mother. It's free of it, but it's not independent. It has to use what the mother got for a while it gets its strength. And once it gets its strength, then the mother even dries up. There's nothing there to even give the child. That's the same thing with this money system. We'll use it for a short period while we're making our showing. However, at the same time, and what you all have missed out on up until now are these classes. When you do come, there's been enough people that have gone through the classes that will be able to teach you and show you some things. If it wasn't, if you come with the same ideas that you learned from this man, we're going to catch the same hell that you in, because that's what you bring in. We're getting rid of money, and that's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it. We are a recognized nation by this nation, this United States. They recognize us as really being a nation. And if you give, if they give, we give them a tax form, and they get an opportunity to take it off their taxes. As far as money coming in and we got to buy from them, we give what they ask. Usually, this is what happens. Most of the people that come and see what we're doing, they give us what we ask for. No money. What they tell us now, we're going to give you this. We like what we've seen. We're going to give you this. I'm going to come back and see how you treat it. We love that because we want you to come back and see how you treat it because we're treating it right. And when they come back, they say, man, can I help you in any other way? That goes to show you we're living in a time where money really don't excite them. They're looking for some kind of peace of mind. Who's going to bring it? Who's going to actually bring it? It's already written. It's got to be this Solomon. And I don't care what you say about Jesus Christ. There's nothing written in the book about Jesus Christ that's greater than what's written about Solomon. If you read in the Quran, it reads in the Quran about Solomon that we took him and gave him a little knowledge of everything. And it also reads about Solomon is the only man that don't have to answer to nothing or no one. Did you hear what I said? He don't have to answer to nothing or no one. Nobody does that but God. However, you got to know how to think. How it was written, why it was written, and what time is it for this to be true. It don't say that about Jesus Christ. It don't say that about Jesus Christ. And to say Jesus Christ, you got to say two names. That means something is dependent. If Allah is Allah, everything's got to be one. Solomon. My name by birth, Royall. If you want to go by another man name, Joshua. This is one. It represents independence. It can't be minister this, or it can't be Jesus Christ. These are all people that leads up to this time. Jesus Christ is not here according to the Bible, the way it reads. However, we're living in a time somebody better be here. Somebody better be here. Now, if the somebody is what the book says, he's got to be doing something to verify that that is him. And like I said, I'm going to do this whether you are with me or not. You won't be able to charge me that, why did you stop? Because I didn't believe you yesterday. Today I see you, and I see it. But you stop, you don't have no place for me. I would be wrong. Think it over. Yes, ma'am.
This question is in relation to what you were just talking about, and being a nation that the U.S. recognizes you all as a nation. Yes, and my question to you is, being that you're calling yourselves a nation, are you taking steps to be a self-governing nation, a sovereign nation, a nation that will be, as you see, when you say you have clothing, you produce your own clothing, your own shelter, you have your land, and so forth. I want to know what steps are you taking to take it to the next level, that you are a true nation, meaning that you have your own laws and codes by which you are regulated. Are you planning to go to the United Nations to present yourselves as a nation, a sovereign nation?
No, ma'am. What we're doing, we're building a righteous nation. Our laws are the laws and principles of creation. When that is expressed, it supersedes any law or rule that some grafted man or some less than us has made. That fact alone gives us the right to be ourselves or our nation. When God does something, he don't go to the ruling class of people and ask permission. He just does it.
I'm not saying that you're asking permission. My question is, okay, you have to deal with reality. And the reality is that you're in the U.S. and you're governed by the United States of America's laws and constitutional rights and amendments and so forth.
The man of sin that we allowed to do what's happening there now, today, what we're living under. We allowed him to come up with his rules to do what he's doing. If we are doing things that supersede his rule, he don't come in to tell us anything wrong because he can't find nothing wrong. Now, wait a minute. Listen. We're not going to go to him and go to the United Nations and proclaim no sovereignty. Our very actions of what we are doing and bringing in the destruction and bringing you out as being the God people, that act alone supersedes letting him know anything. He's going to come to us. This is divine. It is not governmental. This is divine. It's not like, now, if we had to do it, naturally that would be set up. To answer your question, yes. Not are we in making preparations, we are actually living this daily. And because we're living it, the man that has been here cannot do nothing with it but accept it. I don't go and say, well, look, we want to be a nation. I know what he's going to say and what he's not going to say. This is not a choice. This is not debatable. This is the end. So I'm bringing in the beginning of us. If they don't like it, that's their end. If they like it, they can escape the destruction. So we're not going that way. All we have to do is just be. And that takes care of all of that. That takes care of it.
Okay, yeah. My next question is about this destruction. Can you tell me what do you mean about the destruction? And the end. What do you mean by the end?
Well, like I said before, we gave this man 6,000 years to rule. His time was up in 1914. We gave him 70 years for extension before his power, for him to exercise his power, will be completely up. Now, the destruction means the destruction of his ability to exercise power over us and the peoples of the world. In other words, we're bringing in certain situations that he has no knowledge to deal with. This is why I'm saying it is divine. To him, that's a destruction. And if you stay with his thinking, it will be a destruction with you because they are used to having power. Matter of fact, they were asked by the Lord or the God before this Adam or this new God was to appear. He was asked, saying, now we're going to make a man out of black mud. Will you submit to him? And everybody else, the brown man said yes, the yellow man said yes, the red man said yes. And when he got to Iblis, the Caucasian, he said, no, I can't submit to him. You didn't make me to submit. You made me a ruler. So he can't submit in that form. So what we have to do is just be ourselves. And in doing that, nature backs us up. So this means he would have, now in the form of destruction, whatever you can think of that exists, we're bringing it to a halt. The weather is not the same. Your thinking is not the same. The food is not the same. The people are not the same. He can't go back in history and come up with something that's going to confirm his actions for tomorrow unless it's in accord with what we're doing. Welcome salam.
I met you about 4 years ago, I think, when you were here at the Arcade Center.
Yes, sir.
I had some questions at that time about Mount Shasta.
Yes, sir.
And David Wayne. I'm not going to do that tonight. I just want to follow up on something you did say, and that is, you put emphasis on this idea of research, analyze, investigating. You said a lot of things tonight, and I hope everyone in the audience will pay attention to that important thought. Okay, that's what our teacher, Dr. Malachi York, teaches us. That we are to investigate, research, find out for ourselves. And what I'd like to also do is provide a gift to Brother Solomon, which is our family guy. Give us a great deal of background information on us, and provide an invitation to you to come up to our newcomers class any Sunday.
Thank you.
I put my phone number in here so that anyone can get in touch with me and we can coordinate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I may just take you up on it one day.
How you doing?
Real good.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you one thing because the sisters were coming talking about it's not about.
Well, before y'all leave, will you peruse look at the tables? You know, I'm not saying don't leave. However, before you go through the doors, look at the tables and see if you see anything that you like. Yes, sir, brother.
Okay, the sisters were talking about, and you were speaking of mathematical things
Well, what? Wait a minute. What?
Question.
You said, wait a minute. That statement was made from her in such a way as just to get your attention. We don't overlook anything. We got to look at everything and study everything and get the best of it that it has to offer. However, it appeared at the particular time when that statement was made that the interest level was being decreased because of the back and forth. That's all.
Okay. So, good. So my question is then, the God in person or Allah in person that came to see Elijah Muhammad was named W.D. correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, my question to you is that his mom had to have 7 devils cast out of her because she was a Caucasian woman, right? Which would be a devil, according to your doctrine, right? And then there was the original man who came and impregnated her, right? But then in your lesson it says, what is a devil? A devil is a grafted man which is made weak and wicked, or any grafted evil germ from the original is the devil. So immediately when the sperm touched the ovum, that would immediately start a graftation process. So if that starts the graftation process, that will make your alive person a devil, right? And so I just like you to expand on that as far as how the God in person or the grafted gene will make the devil.
Okay. Yes, sir. It reads in the scripture that the God would appear in dyed garments. That means that he would not be fully original. He would be changed in dyed garments. Master Farad Muhammad is Master Farad Muhammad. He was not Allah. Allah appeared in his person. Master Farad Muhammad, Farad, not Ford, Master Farad Muhammad, Allah appeared in his person. This is why it reads in the books that in the last days that God would come in dyed garments, meaning that his body would not be fully original. It wouldn't be all the way white.
Where does it say that?
I don't know what book it is in.
So you could just be making that up.
No, sir, brother. I'd be a fool to make.
You just want where the Bible says he'll come and die on us.
It's in the Bible. What book? I don't look for that in that way. I'm telling you, it's in there. If you know anything about the Bible, it's there. That God would come and spend 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of hell. He would come in dyed garments. And that's exactly what took place.
Well, you were talking about doing research and whatnot, and if a person...
Well, do the research and you'll see that I told you the truth.
I thought I was talking to the Spirit of United Nations of Islam, trying to find out what's your foundation and where you come from. In your lessons,
well, brother, wait a minute. I've said many things, just like the brother just said. You have to listen to all of it. Now, if you're testing me to be technical, this is not the place. What I said is that the God is in the books here. What book it is, I didn't read it to come up with that, because that's not what excites me to be technical about that. The fact is that it did happen. That's the fact. The bringing forth of this woman married to this black man brought forth this dyed garment. It wasn't a dyed garment that you wear a clothes garment. It was a flesh and blood garment that housed this particular entity that brought about this situation. So that's what that means. You can take it or leave it alone. Yes, sir?
Let's do what you just said. When I look up in the dictionary for the definition of a garment, I've never seen the definition of it being any type of flesh and bone. I was talking about cloth and clothes and, various articles that you wear around your flesh, not that are the flesh. Therefore, by you saying dyed garment, that can't be referred to as skin tone. That's not me.
Well, take it any way you like it, brother. Like I say, you accept it or leave it alone. This is can you imagine, and I want you all to think, if you will, can you imagine trying to share something that is for you, and you take it as though it's phony? It's either because you've been phony so long, you don't think nothing is real, or you think that I'm just like you, trying to get over it. What makes you think you know the language of the writers of the scripture? It's also in the lesson, when he got here, you couldn't speak your language. Didn't you know that you was his uncle? When did you learn the language? When did you learn the key to break the code of the book? If the Alfonso went and got a Caucasian woman, which he know is automatically against him or different from him, why would he do that if it wasn't for a specific purpose. And the purpose was to bring about this God that would come in dyed garments, so as that he could retrieve us without being killed. So that's why it took place. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know, do you feel that W.D. himself was a Mason who raped the continent of Africa and used his truth and knowledge to make you worship him, to allow his image, by saying that he was God, being black, but then saying his mother was white, which made him the greatest of all? And is he an idol to you guys?
No, sir. And he never did say he was God. The messenger said that Allah came in his person. But however, Master Prophet Muhammad never said he was God. He never even said he was the Lord. He styled himself as a prophet. And he didn't rape Africa or any other part. And we don't see him and worship him. This is a man of knowledge. He's a master. And a master automatically means or knows that you don't have nobody worshiping you. If anything is to be worshipped, it should be the truth, and that's intangible. You don't worship no person. You don't worship no flesh and blood. You give dedication to truth. And that's what's going to save you or make you free or to even elevate you. So this man's a master. He already know that. Those are interpretations of our enemy. So let that foolishness go, brother.
What about the separation between Malachi Z. York, W.D. Muhammad, yourself, and Farrakhan? Are you guys ever going to unite and follow Orthodox Islam, but not, you know what I'm saying, run behind the Arabs, but have something for the Moors of America and practice unity?
What we're doing, like I said, we're not going to go and ask white people anything. Our name, and I hope you listen. Most of us think you're so smart you got it. You're missing it. The name of this is the United Nation of Islam. United is the key. They're not doing something what I'm doing as far as a divine way for our people as a people. It's already written. You have many people come up doing great wonders. But they're not the one. They're great. But we need the one that's going to cause us to be successful to avoid being destroyed. That's me. So I can't join them. I have a situation set up where they can join this. So I'm not against them. I don't have anything that I wish upon them that's not. No, sir. I'm busy about being myself, like it reads. Be about doing. Be about building. Even when they come, they still going to need the same things that we are accustomed to. They're going to need it also. So the criteria is not for me to see who's doing what. That's not what I do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. They will come and be with us if they want to live. It's that simple. And it's not we're not, let me say something about the Eastern Islam, if I may, without offending someone. You know, it's written also in the books that we tied Satan up for 1,000 years. We bound him up. And at the end of the 1,000 years, we loosed him for him to run rampant over the earth for a short period of time, wreaking havoc on the original people. During this 1,000 years, we brought about Islam in such a way that it put Christianity in check. I'm going to say it again so you understand what's being said. The Islam that we gave the ones in the East was not the Islam that is going to make us experience life. It's referred to in the books as the tree of knowledge, but not the tree of life. We have to have the tree of life. However, this tree of knowledge put this Caucasian or this Christianity in check. They couldn't go so far because Islam kept it in check. However, after we allowed the man of sin to leave under the weight of Islam and come into this country where there was no Islam, no Christianity, they came over here and got started so that they could wreak havoc on us. Now, we don't need that kind of Islam because it's not powerful enough. We got to have the Islam that represents the tree of life, which will subdue this man here and get rid of him. So that's the difference. We're not chasing after no one in Arabia or overseas. It's written here that the Son of Man would be born and raised up in the West. And the light for the world would be in the West, not the East. And this is it. Yes, sir.
Peace. Hello, how you doing, Brother Solomon? I question. I'm all about building the nation too. Yeah, that's cool. But what step, like these brothers were saying, what steps have you taken? What's your actual nationality? Because you forgot that you were under the Constitution of America in order to get certain rights and be a sovereign nation. Like this brother who got up here in the white, he wanted to single out Dr. Malachi, but Dr. Malachi has over 400 acres of land, and we have our own sovereign nation, and we are called the United Nawapi Nation of Moors. And I want to know what your nationality is, and is it found in the Constitution? Because more can be found in the Constitution, and that's what we are.
All right, I'm gonna answer this, and here's again: this is a need to think and to listen. We don't have a nationality. We're God. Don't nothing supersede that. All we have to do is be about being God. That's why we're raising up a nation of righteousness. Not with my name. It's not Solomon's nation. It's not Royall's nation. It's a united nation of right, of Islam. A nation. And Islam is the practice of how God does things. Try to understand that. We gave this man the right to do what he's doing. We don't have to go to him and say, we're a sovereign nation. We're not a sovereign nation, we're God. We're God of all the nations. I would suggest that you all go to the mathematical thinking classes that are here. We have the minister here, we have a class thing already set up. Start going. Check it out. But for me coming to speak to you for a couple of hours, and you all, I won't say twisted up, but you have so much other knowledge that you have to get an understanding of that first before you can take the next step. It's binding you up. You got to have a knowledge that sets you free. And that's for real. I'm doing it, check it out. That's the only thing I can say. We are God's, brother. And God don't go and tell somebody else or ask them or make themselves a sovereign nation. We God, we own the planet. We're not trying. This nation is not a nation where we have geographical boundaries. This is a nation of thought, a nation of right. Is that understood? So this means any place that you are on the earth, it belongs to you. Because you are right. You be the peacemakers. You be the one that inherit the earth.
Excuse me, where's your nation set up? I mean, because you said you had farms, correct?
Yes, sir.
You had acres. Where is that set up?
We have it in 3 different locations at this particular time, and it's growing. We have it in West Virginia, we have it in Maryland, and we also have it in South Carolina. However, regardless of where it's set up, it's what's being done and why and who's operating it. That's the key thing. Now, well, I won't go off into that. Yes, sir.
Yes, my question is based on a book written by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called The Theology of Time. And in that book, he prophesies that after him only Allah can come. And some of those prophecies that he made was that this Allah would bring about a new dress code, the temples of peace, and in their own language, a new language. And so I'm wondering, so my question is if you're calling yourself Allah, then where is your new dress code? Because when I was checking out the Nation of Islam, led by Farrakhan, I see the same dress code that they wore back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and so on. And most of all, where is the new language that was prophesied by Elijah Muhammad? Because from what I understand,
I got it. Here's another reason why we have to think. You've got to think. The way that you're presenting this as though we're supposed to do this and you're not a part of it. Everything is done by degrees, by fractions, before it becomes a whole. This is to be done in time. I don't think you've seen me before. Just when a base has to be laid for everything. The first thing I do is come speaking with you so you can get the proper understanding. And remember, most of these things that you're asking me about, the book already says is in your head. The kingdom of his heaven is within you. I got to present a situation where I can bring it out, or it can be allowed to come out. So it's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to present it and I'm going to give it to you. That's not the way it happens. If you don't participate, even when we do bring it about, you can't benefit from it because you can't relate to it. It's like now I'm speaking to you all. This is one of the first time I've spoken to young people like you all. Almost what I'm saying is almost foreign to you because you haven't heard it this way. However, it doesn't make it that it's not true. So what you have to do is get on the boat, so to say, and start getting yourself in tune with what happened, what is happening, and the time. So yes, all of this is going to be done. I'm bringing everything new, just like it reads in the book. He makes all things new. The first thing I got to do is change your thinking. That's number one. Number one is to change your thinking. That's where it starts. And I've started that.
Good evening again, brothers. Good evening again, Brother Solomon. My name is Zacchaeus Charles, and I'm a student here at FAM. Most of the fiery debate we heard tonight on your doctrine came from students of a different group, similar to the United Nations of Islam. And I think and they believe in a particular man who makes the same claim as you in terms of his divinity. I think it's unfair to us, a student of FAM, to base our judgment on Brother Solomon on that debate alone. I think we need to have a more open mind because we're students here trying to obtain knowledge. Now my question to you, sir, is if a man wanted to use recognition for black people today, to uplift them, let's say, could he not endeavor to build such a nation without claiming divinity, without proof?
No, sir, he couldn't do that. For the mere fact, the nation that is to be built, it has to be a righteous nation. There is no one righteous except the God himself. So regardless of what brothers, as I was saying, they build a nation, and they don't call it Islam. You got to build a nation that represents the God. We got another conversation going on here. If that's not happening, and the messenger taught this, the message that was brought to us, the messenger said, after me comes God himself. It didn't say no doctor. It didn't say no minister. It's got to be God do this. If he don't do it, it's not going to be done. What could you produce other than what's already here? You got it in your heart to do something, come up with another language. What is that going to do with anything at this time? And if you get farmland and produce food, who are you going to feed it to? If it's not in a particular place, you got a system set up which actually operates as a nation. We don't grow things to take it to the market and sell it on the market. Our prime objective is to make sure our people get it first. If there is any excess, then the market could have it before it spoils or go to bad. However, the problem is divine and the solution is divine. Nobody else can come up and all nations, you can't surpass what this man has brought in here. White folks have brought about a technology that supersedes the one that claimed to be righteous in the East. All that Islam they got, they can't do nothing with this man that don't want to do nothing with righteousness. He don't want no Islam. He don't want to hear. He don't want the Quran. But you can't get past him in technology. Why is that? So it lets us know he was given permission to do that, and we gave him the knowledge. Now we're coming back and telling him, your time is up. We told him before we made him. After we made him, we gave him scripts and scroll and said, this is your end. And we put it in ink, and ink means your end. So you can read it at your beginning what your end is. I am the God, I'm your Father. And so when you reach your end, look for me coming up. And if you want to escape the destruction, you have got to acknowledge and accept what you see me do. And if you do that, I being God, I must reward you. I can't look upon you in disdain or look at you as though I have dislike or you are my enemy. No, there is no enemy of mine. To be an enemy, you got to have power greater than what we have. No such power exists, and especially this new God. This is a God, if you read the theology of time on the messenger's literature, he always spoke about this Allah that he called is a new Allah. He's not the Allah from the beginning, because the problem came with that one, and it was never solved. This new, he makes all things new. He, not they, not them, not she. He makes all things new because he first is new. He is that. Not that he knows that. He is that. So when he brings this about, you want new knowledge? You want new food? Yes. If you all have been listening and coming to the classes, I've explained this. Even what you're going to look like, how you're going to walk, what kind of clothes you wear, if it's clothes, how you're going to have birth, how you're going to give birth, what the brother has to do or the father of the child. All this I've been sharing with the people. White folks get it. They study it and they say, that's the man. I'm not going to touch him. I'm not going to touch him until his people is attracted to him and we see his people is coming. Then I'm going to do like I always do. I'm going to come and say, I'm with you. So as they can always get on the good side. Because they know, just by dealing with knowledge, just to go out in space, they know what type of knowledge it takes. And they know the stars didn't get there by no happenstance. They know it is a supreme being, and they know who he is. They take my name Royall, R-O-Y-A-L-L, and dissect it and say, that's him. They take my birth as being born as a twin and check that in. That's him. They take my height, my looks with the no teeth. That's him. With the moles on his face like it reads about it in the hadith. That's him. They know, but you don't. And they're not going to help you know. They help you stay away from this because they would desire, like Lazarus. Oh God, would you send Lazarus to me just with one drop of water? They want to trick you. However, it's being offered to you. I can't make you. I have to offer it and that's it. You accept it or you leave it alone. However, it's not stopping the destruction. All this that you think you know and you're so wise, you can forget that. If your knowledge is not put in order, you're going to die from that same knowledge you got. It's going to kill you. It's like a man walking in a cage. And no one has known more than the black man. White man has never known more than the black man. Even in our slavery, we told him how to do everything he did. But it was like we were in a cage, like the lesson reads, walking to and fro, back and forth. Couldn't find the right key to unlock the door. You got to get yourself together. As far as trying to say it can't be you, well, who is it? This is divine. All these other brothers got these titles to it, whatnot. Yes, they do good work. When the messenger was with us and Master Fard Muhammad was doing the teaching, he taught Daddy Grace. He taught Father Divine. And he also taught Elijah. Daddy Grace, they got the House of Prayer now. It's a big entity. They got farmland. They got big churches. They got a bus system. They got housing for their people. They're just not saying it's a nation. It's the house of prayer. But they got it from Master Fard Muhammad. Father Divine died. And you always have three. If it's going to be complete, you got to have three. However, the one that was to be the messenger was Elijah, and he was named before he was born. Just before that great and dreadful day, I will send you Elijah. And that's what we did. We did just that. And then the messenger says, before Allah comes, I'm here to make a way for him, not a minister. And after me comes Allah himself. Royal means to judge, all. Royal means judge. In Arabic, it means summons. A-L-L means all. Who can do that if they're not God? Can't be done. How I summoned you is performing. If you like what you see me do, you are never going to find nothing offensive. Never. We don't offend anything. If it's offensive, it's because of the way you are thinking. It's not the way it is. Everybody else you can point to something that offends you and can prove it. That is against the laws of nature. That's why it's an offense. I'm not here to play games with you all for you to make me rich. Remember what is written about Solomon. Because I didn't ask for any riches, they gave me more wealth than anyone before me or after me. But look what I did with it. I set it up for you. I can't wear one suit at a time, drive one car at a time. I'm not a man that's greedy because I got everything. I got it here. I said that because it's very necessary for you all, when you leave, it's dangerous for you to leave thinking that here's another shyster. If I were unable to actually convey what's really being said, get the tape. Check it out. If you don't get this one, get one. I've taught on Master Farad Muhammad, if you hung up on him. But the mathematical thinking, that frees you from everybody, even me. It keeps me light. I don't have no burden because I'm not carrying you. I have knowledge to offer you. If you want to drink, come and drink. It will make you like me. I don't have to worry. What day is it? Well, this is Tuesday or Tuesday. Forget this. This is another day. And I am living, so I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do it because of a day. You got to be the same way. And you got to stop answering to somebody else. You might think you don't. I'm not answering to my father, my parents. I'm my own person. I'm my own woman. I'm a powerful black woman. I'm independent. Oh, really? Like I said, let the garbage man don't come to your door. Let me send a slight flood, and you don't get no electric. And you got in your refrigerator the ham hock, and see if, you open up, the worms come crawling out. Because the electric is off. If you are directing your thoughts towards me as a person, how could he? Forget that. Get off me as a person. This is why it was told to you in the message. We sent it to you in the message from a live living man that spoke it from the tongue. This new book you have to give ear to, not see. That's why most people that know anything about me has heard it from a tape. You heard it. You didn't see me. Now you have an opportunity to see me, and I give a justification as to why I appear the way I do. The scientists or the prophets cannot be liars. They cannot be liars. And ain't no such thing, what I've heard other people say, that prophecy can be avoided or changed or is conditional. Forget that. If it was spoken, it is true. It may need to be interpreted, but it is true. And we didn't speak it in such a way. Are you listening? Yes, sir. We did not give the prophecies in such a way that it would interfere with the rulership of the man that we promised 6,000 years. If we allowed him to write, because he was the one that wrote it, we gave him the scrolls. And in the Quran, it tells you that we gave it to him unadulterated. He took and changed it. It's written. We didn't stop him. Then he built the Bible. He did this. But he has the original scripts. So you read this and you think, well, this man is this and this man is the other. He's not the one. We could not allow him to write it plain out. If we did, we would have lied. If we allowed that to happen one day before 1914 was expired, we would have lied. So we allowed the truth to come out in hints and clues, camouflaged. So it would be there, but you couldn't understand it. Now, when it got to the time and it was over and the end of that time was up for him, then we could make it plain. But look who we had to make it plain to. Someone that had digested all of this vial that he had fed you. And this is why it is written about this one being made, this one being brought up out of the abyss of black mud. It don't mean that it was mud in the earth. It meant that it was filth of a man's condition, the way he thought. Totally against the law. So I'm born here in North America in this. To be brought up out of this, to actually be God himself and to take you and bring you with me. That's what that means. And it could not be done until after the time. And the Bible was wrote before 1914. So you got to think. It's compulsory. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I wanted to share that this is just a slight testimony. I came through the product of this system, and it should be hard for us to believe that it's not impossible that you can build a righteous kingdom or any kind of kingdom or nation without going and having going to the U.S. government, because this man took this land from the Indians, so that's not something hard to believe. And he had no government to try to answer for. However, what I really want to say is that here's a man standing before us, and I answered that call, said that he has an opportunity for us to express our nature in a righteous way, in a workable way. I belong to a pronounced place, that's Kansas City, Kansas. I have 8 children, about to have the 9th, and all of my children work within this system. Whenever we go to the grocery store, we just sign for what we want. When we go to our gas station, our full service gas station, we sign for the gas. We don't exchange any monies. My children go to our schools, not public schools. My children are working in our diner, our bakery. So I'm answered the call. And they say, you judge a man by his works. When I was in this system, I had one child on welfare and I was in an abusive relationship. They said, go to counseling. Everybody offers you to go to counseling. And counseling, all that does is capitalize off your misery. And you don't get a solution. However, here it is that I submitted to hear what was being said amongst all the whispers. You're crazy going following that man. Or you crazy going with that man. You're crazy giving up your schooling. None of my children, or my first and only son, only had 2 weeks of schooling. Now he manages he has managed most of the businesses there. We don't get bored. I don't have to look up and say, well, I like to go to Louisiana. Let's see if I can take off. How much sick leave do I have? I put in a request. If it is for me to go, I go. I don't have to do anything like that. And all the other brothers and sisters that are with us, this same opportunity is here today for you. And you stop and ask yourself, all that you're working for, you want peace of mind to have food, clothing, and shelter, and transportation. When you can work like that in your own world, in your own nation, and you don't have to answer to no other person other than this righteous system, what are you going to school for? To get in debt so that you can start all over again when the opportunity is being presented to you for you to make it, for you to own it, and for you to be the authority of it. The system we all have experienced. If you were not looking for some relief, you would be sitting in the meeting. We always are looking for relief. And it's never always the way we think it's going to come. It wasn't the way I thought it was going to come. But I'm very thankful that I'm not an old hag burdened down with a bunch of children and about to lose my mind. That I had purpose and direction and aim. And I can say that I'm working within a nation of brothers and sisters like myself to get up, do for self, and be respected. And not one Caucasian ever comes to us and give us any problem. When they come to us, they always are thanking us or asking us, can they help? And here a man is standing here saying this is what he's doing to present you the same opportunity. We only want to get out of this situation together. You came a million of you or more at the Capitol to say a pledge that you're not going to say the B word anymore. You take rappers that cuss us out like dogs, the females. As soon as they win an award, they say, I like to thank God. Well, God is not in there. However, what he is in, he's in an idea that will free you and I. No different than what Jesus said. We got to know the truth. It ain't our names. It ain't whitey. It is about how to do for self. We helped make hell when we were brought over here to America to be slaves. Now, the same people that got tired of pulling and picking cotton, that came up with the tractor and trailer, came up with the stop sign, came up with the first open heart surgery, we can do this again together. But we have to have a plan. And this is the man that's here to present the plan so you and I can all be one again and proud and respected. It's here tonight. The choice is yours. Thank you.
Well, on that note, I don't think I can say it any better. I've been told I have to vacate. I thank you all for coming out. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. If you don't show up, I'm still making a place for you. I would ask you to check the tables. And if you like anything that you've heard and you want to contribute to this, I don't know how it'll be done. You see the secretary or whatever it is, you can contribute. Be a part of it. If you don't have nothing, fine. If you come with us, one day you will. Thanks for having me. Assalamu alaikum.